Welcome to the Oni's Advocate, where we tackle the hottest unpopular opinions in anime and manga. We dive deep into articles from Otaku Kaigai Review, debate about topics that are brought up by our fan community, and playing the devil's advocate. In our case, the Oni's Advocate. I am Kitsune.
And, I am Yuki.
So, Yuki, I want you to imagine something for me.
Okay, I am ready.
Have you ever, managed to actually snag a reservation at one of those highly rated 5-star restaurants?
Oh, you mean the ones where you have to, book a table 6 months in advance and give them your firstborn?
Exactly, yes. So you finally get there, right, and you sit down, and the ambiance is just immaculate.
Right, the lighting is perfect.
Exactly, perfect lighting. The waiter brings out the signature appetizer, the one everyone raves about, and you take a bite.
Okay.
And it tastes like absolute cardboard.
Oh, man.
It is entirely bland, just completely underwhelming.
It's a total letdown.
Right, but you look around the dining room and literally every single person at every other table is just chewing enthusiastically.
Pretending it is the best thing ever.
Yes, pretending it is the greatest culinary masterpiece they have ever experienced, simply because of the famous chef's name on the door.
Right, the brand loyalty.
Exactly. And that is exactly how some fans genuinely felt when it came to the first episode of the new anime adaptation of Demons of the Shadow Realm.
You think so?
Oh, I know so. They felt completely underwhelmed. The appetizer was just bland. But, and this is the kicker, many of them stayed quiet, by the way.
Yeah, because nobody wants to be the one guy saying the food is bad.
Exactly. Because they didn't want to take the brutal backlash that Shan did.
Ah, right. We are talking about Shan.
Yes, our senior journalist over at Otaku Kaigai Review.
Yeah, for those of you listening who might have missed it, Shan basically stepped on a landmine this week.
He really did. The anime community is stan mob, brutal. It is wild.
Oh, absolutely brutal.
So Shan wrote this post on social media analyzing the first 2 episodes of Demons of the Shadow Realm.
And he definitely did not hold back.
Not at all. He stated that the show relied way too heavily on overused concepts of shonen tropes.
Right.
And some fans were absolutely livid at Shan for his take. I mean, especially when he compared it to other series that had significantly better first episodes.
Which is always dangerous on social media.
Oh, sure. But they went completely unhinged, Yuki. They went after Shan's credentials as a journalist.
Yeah.
They insulted his taste, his fundamental understanding of story building. It was a complete mob.
It got really personal really fast.
It did. And I want that whole situation, that refusal to handle criticism, to be the subject of today's deep dive.
I mean, I hear your frustration, Kitsune. And yeah, some of the personal attacks on Shan were totally out of line.
Totally.
But I have to strongly challenge your core premise here.
Okay, let's hear it.
You are painting this picture that a large portion of the audience secretly hates the show, right?
I am saying they found it bland, yes.
But you were saying they're just too terrified of this stan mob to voice their opinion.
Because they are.
But look at the actual engagement metrics. People are highly engaging in this show online.
Are they, though?
Yes. The watch numbers are massive. The fan art is everywhere. I really think the slow build is intentional, and the high engagement proves that the audience is actually enjoying it.
I just completely disagree with that.
They aren't pretending to like the food, Kitsune. They actually like it.
Look, I am looking right at you, the listener. As I say this, they are absolutely not highly engaging with the substance of the story.
How can you say that?
Because I have seen the tweets, I have seen the forum posts, and what stands out the most is how incredibly quiet people have been about the actual plot of this show.
Oh.
But that quietness proves my point. There is nothing novel yet to discuss. You say people are engaging with it, but honestly, engaging to the audience is the lowest possible bar.
I mean, keeping an audience's attention is the whole point of television.
No, keeping attention is different from telling a good story. Like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat is engaging, right? It holds your attention.
Right.
But does that make it innovative? No. It is just a distraction. It is not a masterpiece of storytelling.
That is a very cynical way to view it.
It is realistic. Fans keep saying, oh, it's a slow cooking show and you have to wait a few episodes for it to get good.
Which is a valid defense for a big, sprawling series.
But they say that about literally every show they like that has a weak start. Let's do the math on this for the listener. There is this universal standard in the anime community, right? The 3-episode rule.
Right. Give a show 3 episodes to hook you.
Exactly. Which is roughly 72 minutes.
Yeah, about that.
If a show doesn't catch you in 72 minutes, why in the world should it get another 72 minutes?
Because it's building a world.
I don't think a show needs another 72 minutes. Because if you add that up, that is 144 minutes.
Well, when you put it like that.
Are you serious? Imagine a movie taking 2 hours and 40 minutes just to get to the good part.
But a movie's different from a...
You would walk out of the theater, Yuki. No one should have to wait a month and a half, dutifully sitting through mediocrity week after week, just to be finally entertained by a television product.
Okay, but you are treating a multi-season show like a 2-hour movie, and those mechanics are entirely distinct.
Time is time.
But when you are building a supernatural world from scratch, establishing the rules just takes time.
Shouldn't take 6 weeks.
You have to introduce complex character relationships. You have to set up the environment. If you rush that process just to provide a cheap thrill in episode 1, the later payoffs feel unearned.
But you can build a robust foundation while still being innovative. Those are not mutually exclusive.
Okay, but we have to bring up the author.
The ultimate shield for the stan mob.
Hiromu Arakawa is a legendary mangaka.
I know.
Her name and her credibility alone are reasons to trust the slow build. She has earned our patience.
I strongly disagree. The name of the author shouldn't be enough to have you wait until the 6th or 8th episode to see how this stands out from the rest of the many Demons series currently airing.
But you know her track record.
Sure, her previous work stood out from everything. Full Metal Alchemist was amazing.
Exactly, it's a masterpiece.
Yes, Full Metal Alchemist is a masterpiece. So let's talk in depth about how unique and innovative Full Metal Alchemist was right out of the gate.
It had a great start, yes.
It had a phenomenal premiere, showed us something completely fresh. Do you remember the cultural impact? It had people literally clapping their hands together in the real world, pretending to do alchemy.
Yeah, that was everywhere.
It sparked the imagination instantly. Demons of the Shadow Realm does not have anything unique to it. What are people mimicking from this show?
I don't think every show needs to create a playground fad.
It's not about a fad, it's about identity.
Yeah.
Even if the series actually becomes a masterpiece by the end, which will probably take another 6 years to finish, why should we accept a generic beginning?
I don't think it's generic.
Yuki, it gives us nothing but overused concepts.
Right.
Just in the first 2 episodes, we have the siblings separated at birth trope.
Okay, a classic.
We have the hidden village trope.
Also a classic.
Then we watch that same hidden village get slaughtered, which lost all its impact because we find out right away that many of the villagers survived anyway.
It still sets the stakes.
And of course, we have demons being assigned to human masters. It is just a stacked checklist of tropes.
But you are ignoring the emotional core that makes those tropes work, Kitsune, which is Yuru.
The protagonist.
Yes. I think his charm comes from his innocence of the outside world. That grounds these crazy concepts in a human perspective.
Let me stop you right there.
What?
His naivety is not really interesting because it's been done before and it's already hitting its limits.
Hitting its limits. The fish out of water protagonist is timeless.
It was timeless before we saw it 1,000 times. Think about Goku in Dragon Ball. He was the ultimate naive boy from the mountains. When he encountered modern civilization like cars and capsules, it was genuinely funny.
True.
Or look at Simon and Kamina in Gurren Lagann. They lived underground their whole lives. When they reached the surface, their disorientation was a core theme.
Right.
But Yuru, we as an audience have evolved. Watching a character be confused by modern convenience isn't charming anymore, it's just stalling the plot.
Okay, well, let's look past the fish out of water stuff then.
Please.
You have to admit the conceptual abilities in this supernatural setting are really cool.
On paper, maybe?
Yuru's power to seal and Ace's power to break.
Yeah.
That is a genuinely fascinating dynamic.
I mean, conceptually, sure. The idea of seal, an ability that binds or stops aging, is interesting.
And break, the power to sever and destroy those connections.
I will admit, break could be fascinating. Like, if it were used to free, coerce people from manipulative contracts with demons.
Yeah, exactly.
But has the anime done that yet? No.
Yeah.
It hasn't realized that potential.
Because it is still establishing the baseline utility of the demons. You are demanding complex deconstruction before we even know the rules.
I am demanding good television.
Plus, the demons aren't just used for combat, they have utility.
Yes. They aren't just used for combat, they act like living storage and disposal systems. I get that.
Which makes the world feel incredibly functional.
But it comes down to execution, Yuki. A cool concept is worthless if the execution is sloppy. Let's break down that stalker scene in episode 3.
Oh, come on. That scene introduces Jin Kajimori. It's vital world building.
It is an episode that completely shatters the internal logic of the supernatural rules. Let's paint the picture for the listener.
Okay.
Jin lures a stalker into a trap, and the stalker is in the elevator.
Right.
Jin uses his demons. AI, the giant anglerfish that swallows things, and Makoto, who stores them.
A highly efficient team.
Sure. So AI materializes to consume the stalker. And right at that moment, a lady who is outside the elevator, who is just about to get in, sees AI.
It's a great shock moment. The mundane world meeting the supernatural.
It's an underwhelming scene that highlights a massive inconsistency.
How so?
Think about it. The stalker in the elevator can clearly see the daemon. The lady outside the elevator can clearly see it too.
Yeah, because there is a giant fish monster there.
But back in episode 1, think about the slaughtered villagers. They couldn't perceive what was killing them.
No.
They were blind to the supernatural threat. So I am asking you, and you listening at home, what determines visibility?
The show hasn't explicitly narrated it yet.
Is it proximity? Is it intent? Having invisible killers in episode 1, but random pedestrians seeing a giant fish in episode 3 is just sloppy storytelling.
I don't think it's sloppy. It might be a deliberate breadcrumb.
Breadcrumb.
Yeah, visual ambiguity is a stylistic choice in thriller scenarios. Arakawa might be leaving clues for us to piece together the mechanics.
That is an incredibly generous excuse for bad writing.
I just think you are being wildly unforgiving of the necessary growing pains of a long-form adaptation.
I am being critical because I know what a perfect hook looks like.
Okay, what is a perfect hook then?
If you want to see how to do tropes right, we have a benchmark. Let's pivot and talk about Witch Hat Atelier.
Oh, well, Witch Hat Atelier is phenomenal.
It is the gold standard, and it proves exactly what Shan was talking about. Witch Hat uses the familiar academy and witches trope.
Right, which we have seen a million times.
Exactly, but the execution is entirely unique.
The magic system is definitely unique.
Let's explain it. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it. Instead of wands, they use writing pens and magical ink.
Right.
And spells are cast by writing sigils in nearly perfect symmetrical order.
Like calligraphy.
Yes, like calligraphy. And the tension is built in immediately because one line drawn too long can be utterly catastrophic to the spell.
Which leads to the inciting incident.
Right. The protagonist, Coco, suffered massive consequences just for trying to mimic a spell from a picture book.
A book she bought from a mysterious stranger.
Exactly. She had no idea it was forbidden magic. And that innocent mistake tragically turned her mother and her home into crystal.
It's a devastating hook.
It is. And think about the deep irony here.
What irony?
Witch Hat Atelier established a brilliant dramatic hook from the jump. Funny. That's kind of similar to how exciting the masterpiece Full Metal Alchemist started out.
Yeah, they both grab you instantly.
Which is the irony. Because Arakawa is the veteran here. She knows how to hook an audience, yet she is the one delivering a lackluster, trope-heavy opening in Daemons.
Maybe she just wanted a methodical, atmospheric build this time. Not everything needs a world-shattering tragedy in episode 1.
But the production reality doesn't support that. To pull novelty fans in, Daemons desperately needed a 45 to 60-minute premiere.
Like ReZero.
Yes, or The Rising of the Shield Hero.
I agree, a longer premiere would smooth over the pacing. But you know they couldn't do that.
Oh, I know why they couldn't. Let's talk about the source material problem for the listener.
The big hurdle.
Hiromu Arakawa is a monthly mangaka now. It took 4 years just to reach 46 chapters as of October 2025.
Yeah, monthly serialization is slow.
That's only about 12 chapters a year.
So the production committee didn't have enough material to burn on a 60-minute premiere.
Exactly. And that leads to a grim pacing forecast.
How grim.
The show is scheduled for 24 episodes?
That's right.
But based on the math, that might be all we get for a very long time.
Because they will catch up to the manga.
Yes. And traditional filler arcs are not really a thing in anime these days.
Peacefully, honestly.
So fans are going to be left waiting 3 to 5 years for the story to continue. We won't see an original anime continuation like the 2003 Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, the industry doesn't really do that anymore.
So you are asking fans to sit through a mediocre opening just to finally hit a wall and wait half a decade?
You know, I have been strongly debating you this entire time, Kitsune.
You have.
But upon hearing the production realities you just laid out, and the undeniable flaws in the supernatural rule execution.
Like the elevator scene?
Yeah, the stalker and the lady outside the elevator. I have to soften my stance a bit.
Oh, really?
I somewhat agree with your core points regarding the pacing and the lack of a strong initial hook.
I appreciate that.
I can admit that perhaps the adaptation was rushed out too soon by the committee before they had enough material.
Exactly.
However, I maintain my optimistic stance that the series still deserves to be given a chance by fans, The foundation is there.
You are very patient, Yuki. But for the listener, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to mull over.
Okay, hit us with it.
When the anime industry relies so heavily on the name brand of a veteran creator to carry a slow start, does it actively discourage new writers from experimenting? Or does it just prove that even the greatest mangaka are hostage to the punishing pace of modern anime production?
That is definitely something to think about.
Thank you for listening to the Oni's Advocate on Otaku Kaigai Review. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Oni's Advocate on Otaku Kaiga Review. See you next time.